According to this, we are live. We got a great show coming to you today. It's going to be short. Got a few things to talk about, but we'll get right to them. Oh, and I have a wicked announcement. So we'll get right to those coming right up. Hi there, I'm Scott from Reelistic Outdoors, another edition of Reelistic Live. Welcome everybody out there in internet land. We got a few people jumping in here already. That's great. I'm glad to see everybody's able to join me on this fun, super dreary Wednesday, but I hope you're getting out on the ice. Tony, you're ready. I'm glad to see you there, buddy. You are my stone here tonight. I'm going to be running some questions past some people, and I hope to get some answers. A few things I want to talk about today. Obviously, I'm going to go over ice safety again. You guys have seen it, all the posts, and it's getting worse. But I want to talk about a few things with that. I want to talk about some people who are leaving garbage everywhere on the ice. I know it's not you guys, however. Somebody out there, 1 out of 20 people watching, is probably guilty, and I want to talk to them about that, and I'll be talking directly to them. Wolf Lake Wilderness Lodge, I'm going to get into that a little bit. Portable ice huts, I want to talk about that. So if you got some questions about that or some tips and tricks and things like that, we'll be talking about that. I've got some new products I want to talk about, just a couple today. Just keep it small, and then to finish off the show, I want to do the giveaway from last show, and I apologize for missing last week. So we're going to do a giveaway, and we will give away that subscription from the last episode. So the first thing I want to talk about today and get this off my chest because it's driving me crazy. So I'm just going to raise me up here a little bit. I'm just going to float around a little bit like a floating talking head. Hello. While the banner's there. So some of the ice precautions you guys take. I just wanted to throw out the questions. What are you guys using? What is some of the stuff that you guys are using for precautions? First of all, before we go too much further, Tony, can you hear me? Is everybody? Hi, Karis. Karis watching. Can you hear me all right? Just need a quick check before we go much further. Make sure that everybody can hear me okay. Everybody, Tony, thumbs up. Yes, just put a hello. Okay, lots of ice. All right, so Tony can hear me. Great. So the sound is good. Thanks, Tony. I appreciate that. It's important because, you know, you can be just doing the fake mouth moving for about 10 minutes before anybody tells you, and that kind of blows. So anyway, what kind of ice stuff are you guys using when you go out on the ice? I know you guys are having a tough time with ice. We had minus 44 here a few days ago, and we had minus 30 for probably 5 or 6 days. It was a pretty good stretch, and so we got some decent ice. But it was plus 4 today, so now we have a lake on top of the lake. So can't win for losing. And what are you going to do about that? So just chime in who all's watching here. I see a bunch of people are watching, but just chime in, say hello so I know who's all in here. So what are the things that you guys take out when it's thin ice? Like, are you taking spuds with you? Are you taking rope? Do you go with a buddy for sure? I'd like to know what some of the things are people are using. Obviously, using your truck and trailer to check the ice is not optimal. What's your new gig? Hey, Corey, Richard. Hey, guys. Thanks for joining us. I don't know if you guys been here for a few minutes or not, but we were just talking about ice safety. And I just wanted to know what's the one precaution you guys take with you when you go. I always have my picks with me, and it depends on the type of ice. I usually have them at the ready to go outside of my gloves, especially when it's an unknown ice for me. Then I definitely have the picks out. If it's a sketchy ice, or I know there's streams and different currents involved in there, I take my spud all the time. Now, a couple things that we've done in the past, the buddy system, as Tony was saying, is definitely a must. I mean, if you're going into sketch areas, or and like if people just don't know where to find you, if you're way out there and you're just risking yourself on some terrible ice, well, that's just looking for disaster. So yeah, the buddy system for sure, Tony. And one of the things that we have done in the past is we take a fairly good length of rope, whether it just be for throwing to somebody, or if one of us, the ding dongs who have to go out first with the spud, we get tied off, and the person's on shore as we check the first initial little bit of ice. I mean, you can go out and just auger a few holes right away, and I mean, that's fine too, and that's just big giant holes for people to trip in. So I don't like to, especially if it's the area where you're accessing, you don't want to start drilling a whole bunch of holes there for people to trip over, because they will, and they'll find it and break their ankles or something. Sometimes, what's this, Tony? Sometimes the locals buys, yeah, well, that's true. And there can be really good resource for finding out where some weak spots are or naturally occur and stuff like that, so you can avoid them if possible. Another thing that I've done in the past, and you guys may like to try this, and it's super fast for checking the ice if you're moving quickly, is I mean, besides the spud, but the spud gets super heavy if you're going for a decent distance, and you'll notice the next day that your shoulder is aching. So you can take a regular cordless drill and like a 12-inch auger bit, pretty much any size. And I mean, if you can blast to the bottom of the bit without going through, then you've got enough ice. And I mean, you could make it 6 inches if you wanted, so you don't have to go as far, because 6 inches is obviously pretty good. But I think my blade is 8 inches, the one I frequently use. And then when we're giving her, I can check a lot of places before, and nobody's going to trip over the holes, and it doesn't sploosh up and make a big mess. So yeah, that's pretty much what most of us are using out here. I don't see a lot of people wearing floater coats. There's a few of us. I have a float assist coat from Eskimo, which is pretty fantastic to have as a backup for sure. But I don't see a lot of people wearing them. And I used to have my floater coat from the ocean. It was a boy, oh boy, it was a full-on floater coat, and I used to wear that first out and then come back and get my stuff and change it out because it was uncomfortable. But at least I had it when I went out. A spud to reopen a fish hole. Oh yeah, well sure, why not? If you don't want to have to take your auger out each time, and you know it's not going to be another 12 inches of ice, it just makes for a messy hole, Tony, I find, and you can snag up some of your leader on the hole a little bit. So I kind of like a fresh hole every time, but there's nothing wrong with spudding open something that has a couple inches of ice. That's fantastic. Save yourself some trouble, some gas, the planet, whatever. Speaking of that, I'm going to throw this up on the screen. This is for a topic in a little bit. How many of you have used one of those? I'm going to turn the comments off here. How many of you used an electric auger like the Ion? I'm just going to bring that topic up forward for a bit, because I had been sketched about him for a little while because I really liked my gas, and I was worried about the propane. I was worried about the batteries getting cold. But I got a report on the weekend of a couple guys who work forestry, and they have to drill a lot of holes, and they work up in the lakes area. And this is what they take with them. And they had nothing but good results with this. And they were telling me that they would just, they took precautions with the battery. They didn't just leave it laying on the ice, overnight or whatever. They brought it into the tent with them, but they were camping out there for 2 or 3 days at a time. And they said that they drilled and punched a lot of holes for checking some depths for, I don't know what, I didn't ask. And they managed to only go through one battery. Yes, Steve Shaw. Yeah. It's been getting better and better. And I was so concerned about the actual battery losing its capacity in the cold, because I've heard that's really hard. But you know what? I watch some of these people using them in their tent, and it's quiet, and excuse me, it doesn't make a lot of racket. So, and there's no exhaust in your tent to no electric for you. Yeah. Well, that's a big auger. You could ride that bad boy, Tony. Maybe to and from where you're fishing. Yeah, and that's the other thing they were telling me. Of course, they had to carry a charger back at camp, but and I don't know what you would do if you ran out of battery, where you could just take a little pop bottle of fuel with you for a backup for the weekend for your auger, for your power auger. But a couple of these batteries would seems to me would drill way more holes than I punch in a day, because I'm down, now that I'm using that live scope, I'm down to a tenth the amount of holes I used to punch. I used to start out with at least 20 in a big square around the area I wanted to fish, and then that would be maybe increased by another 10 looking for what I was looking for. But now I just punch 1 or 2, use the scope to find it, and so that ion would probably save a lot of space as well in my sled, which is becoming heavier and heavier every year. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old, but it's either getting old or my sled's getting heavier, and I think it's kind of a bit of both. But I'm going to drop this picture down here. So I did want to bring that forward because it just happened to blend with this topic right now. So yeah, okay, so the consensus, nobody uses ropes, I guess, eh? I haven't seen anybody say that they would carry a rope along. Drill 2 holes. So Tony is saying drill 2 holes. Lots of zoom. Yeah, zoom. Well, actually, Tony, the zoom, if you watch some of the videos, and this is another thing that blows my mind, because I've got the Eskimo Stingray. The Rocket, sorry. And it's a fast auger, and I've challenged some people with electrics, and they've beat me every time. And you watch online, I think that some of the challenges are 5 holes, and the 5th hole is done with the electrics before the 4th hole is completed with the gas power. So there's some zoom, move quickly with the electrics for sure, Tony. The Rocket, actually, that's true. It was the Rocket. I don't know if you knew that or how you dug that up, but it is true. When I used to charter on the Toronto Star Great Salmon Hunt boat, because I could fix electronics, and I was only 19 or 20 at the time, they nicknamed me the Rocket, and that stuck around for a long time. So that's funny that you said that, the Rocket. I haven't heard that in forever. That's so funny. You nailed it. Now I'm all flustered thinking about that. That brought back some fun memories. Okay, here's something I'm going to show you a picture of. I've picked this up from an article from it was either in Fisherman or Fishing Canada. Actually, I think it was Fishing Canada, and they had an article. So what the hell? Now, I mean, there's a toilet and 4 propane tanks. Like, are these not useful to these people ever again? I'm wondering, like, did their hut blow away or burst into flames, or what the heck? Because who leaves this kind of mess on the ice? Like, this is ridiculous kind of mess, right? And I started seeing a lot more crap on the ice lately. And so I have a little garbage bag I usually take with me and pick up a few things. And it's just so sad that, I leave with more than I went there with. Even some people that I know, I was like, hey, pick that up. It's a little wrapper or whatever, but it's like, how many of those add up? And it just makes me sad to see this. And are you guys seeing this out there? Like, we don't have permanent ice shacks like you guys have for the winter. And I imagine that it happens more and there's more disrespectful. Hey, Rob, thanks for joining. We're just talking about some litter bugs. I'll just bring this back up real quick for you. Have you seen anything this on the lakes, Rob? Like out where you guys are? Because I know that the shacks are a little more permanent. and it tends to get a little bit messier out there. So I don't understand why people are leaving it with such a big mess. If they're enjoying the outdoors and taking some fish, do they not realize that they're killing them or their chances to catch more again down the road? Like that, it just kind of makes me crazy that they just leave such big messes like that. So anyway, yeah, you guys, if you're seeing it, I mean, it's okay to shake a fist at somebody, but obviously don't get too crazy, because I heard of a fist fight down at the lake. It was about 2 weeks ago. Started with some garbage. Somebody left and somebody wasn't happy, which is fine, but they got in a fist fight over it, and that's not cool either. Why would you do that? Waste your time. If those people are that, ding dong about it, then there's no changing it. So obviously they'd rather fight you anyway, probably. So anyway, I just want to talk about that, get off my chest, because it's crazy. It's crazy how much stuff is left on the ice. And I got a diver friend. His name is Randall Sands. I'm going to bring up this banner here because as well as I'm talking about it, where is his banner? Here it is. So Randall is known as the Florida. I kind of mentioned him briefly, I think last week, and he's going to be joining us next week. He's the guy that you've probably seen him on the news a few times. He's really pushing to have the oceans clean, because he's finding the same damn thing on the bottom as was on the ice before it melted. Although that's ocean. He said that on a dive, him and a couple buddies could pick up anywhere between 400 and 800 pounds of garbage. I mean, think about that, 400 to 800 pounds of garbage. The numbers are staggering. So he has started Florida Diver, and he's going to share some stories with us and what we can do to help and how we can pass the word. And he is a very funny guy, and I've known him for 30 years or so. He's the senior captain of JetBlue. He's an airline pilot and a diver. So he likes to fly in the air and in the water. So we will chat with him. Oh, I'm going to leave you with one other thing he does. He swims with ease. He's a cuckoo. So I don't know. He is a big cojones, because there's no way I would even get near that pool. Never mind swim with them. Anyway, so he'll be joining us, I believe, next week. And he's in Cancun right now, so he couldn't join us today. He was going to pop in, but his Wi-Fi is much like mine here. So he'll be joining us next week, and I'm looking forward to having him. And you guys should definitely hang out for him, because he has a lot of really cool stuff to say. Jeff Hines has joined us. Hey, Jeff, welcome. Appreciate it, buddy. It's his first time caller, long time listener. Hey, and Dawn is here. Hey, my friend Dawn, she is an amazing chef, and I alluded to you guys a couple weeks ago that she'd be popping in and doing some live cooking, hopefully from her boat if it ever stops snowing. She's from the Kitimat area, and you've probably seen on the news they got about 700 feet of snow, or according to the way they've been complaining about it, it sounds like 700 feet. Is that about right, Dawn? About 700 feet of snow? So anyway, she slipped and fell on the snow today, and she's hurt herself pretty bad, so she's at home. So actually, she got to watch my show. Woo! Hey, Dawn. Sorry that you had to slip and fall to watch my show. So what's this? He started diving for golf balls. Yeah, I think he makes enough money. He doesn't need to dive for golf balls anymore, but we can ask him. You can certainly ask him. He has an incredible sense of humor, and that's how he and I hung out so well together. He and I would laugh all the time, constantly. Safer. What's safer? What are you regarding the safer, Tony? Anyway, we don't have a lot of time left, but I want to get into the main topic that I want to talk about. It's ice huts. So do you guys use portable ice huts? Just let me know along the side there. Oh, safer than gators. Yeah. Golf balls. If that's what you're referring to, yeah, you're right. Maybe that's something I do. He's trying to get us up to Florida to do a dive for lobsters to do an episode, and he said we could film it live, and I'm not sure how that would go, but that's kind of cool. Also to do some trident fishing, possibly with his friend Manny from, I think, the movie's Jackass. So that would be a really cool episode to do up there. Barry has joined us. Hey, Barry, welcome. And Tyler, Rachel, fishing Lake Superior tomorrow and Friday in a portable hut. Kayla, is that what you're referring to? You're fishing in a portable hut? That's cool. So anyway, the topic I wanted to get at, what are the main features that you look for when you're buying an ice tent? And what is something that you wish they would change? Because that is something. Does anybody want to pop in the show and chat with me live on screen here? Just let me know if you do, and I will send you the link. I should have mentioned that earlier. Let's see here. I got on my shack. The morning seals were at my shack. Wow, were they fishing? Shack, and they have to. Oh, really? Let's see who it was. Yeah. Oh, well, that was nice of you guys to clean it up. Of course, you had to because they were standing there also. But isn't it crazy how much stuff you have to clean up? Some of our lakes out here got closed because people were just destroying them, and that's terrible. And this one lake I used to go to, we'd probably leave with $120 worth of bottles every long weekend that we'd go up there, which was crazy. But anyway, that lake's closed, so you can't go to it anymore thanks to those kind of people. So ice fishing tents, are you the height? Yes, because Don is about 12 foot tall. It's hard to tell when you see her on camera. Maybe 11.7. I'm not sure exact measurement. The height, yeah, and a lot of the new tents have incredible height in the center, but off as they dome to the sides, you lose a bit of the height. The 450i that I'm really falling in love with from Eskimo has the same height, all the way along, and it's more of a rectangle than it is a hub shape. So I find it's got more usable space for stacking stuff when I'm sleeping in it. I can put the cots right up against the side or very close to it, and it doesn't take up that space. Here's my camera that the curve would against my cot, so that it seems to give me a lot more space that way. You guys have a double. Oh yeah. I wish it was insulated. Well, at minus 44, you definitely wish it was insulated. We broke a record the other day, and it was one of the first times I said no, I'm not going out. And if you're pulling, this is my only kind of dislike about the insulated tents. Well, first of all, they're super heavy. Like they're 4 times heavier than just the standard pop-up tents. So you have to take a couple trips, or you end up sucking it up and having a 200-pound sled like I did sometimes, and it's a lot of work. But the other thing is, if you've been in it all day and the temperatures change inside, outside, up and down, and then you have a propane heater inside, and the frost builds up and the moisture builds up, and then that tent is twice the size it was when you started. So it's kind of hard to get back in the bag. So my preference would be, if I could change anything, would be not an end opening bag, but one that you can completely unzip and lay out, and that it expands so that it doesn't matter what size your tent is when you're done. You can still get it back in the bag, because that's a big deal trying to get that back in there. So yeah, that double pop-up clam is that's nice. That one's with the sled connected to it. Is that right, Kyla? Or is it Kyla or Kayla? I'm not sure. So is that the one that has the sled on it? Because those are pretty sweet. What's maybe you need a new tent. Hey, Don, I know somebody with some Eskimo stuff. You should let me know. Maybe I can figure something out for you for an 11-foot person. I think I have only 10-foot tents though. The Scandic snow machine pulls the auto great. Yes, of course. I'd like to see your Scandic go through the snow we had up here, which is crazy. And it's something that I never thought about living in Ontario when I was younger, and then moving here was, we could quad or skidoo or drive out on the lakes, but in BC we have like 4 feet of snow on the lake. Like even the big lakes, I think, still have like 1.5 to 2 foot. And unless you have like a big pow machine that's like a new Skidoo turbo 210 horsepower with a 900-foot track on it. That's exaggerating, by the way. And it's hard to stay on the snow, like, and even walking out there is sometimes impossible. So, oh, Tony, come on. I could get you stuck up here in a heartbeat. I've got a wide track too, and it's a wide, long track, and it still gets stuck. The snow, when it's soft and it's like 4 feet deep, you just go straight to the ice and then you spin. So it's a big deal. So yeah, and I would prefer it to go back in a bag, all in one bag, just because when I get it back in my sled or my toboggan, it never goes all the way back in there. Oh boy. Tony doesn't believe me. Sounds like a challenge, Tony. You should come up and try it out. So I guess that would be my biggest thought too. I've had probably 5 different brands of tents, and I've only had one that's actually had a zippered bag that opens up 100% and lays flat, and then I could put anything back in it, and it actually expanded, which was really cool. So that's my only beef with the Eskimo tent is, oh, and by the way, the bag is, I think, thicker denier than the actual tent. It's an incredible bag, but it opens from the end, and so getting all that in there. So I've accommodated that with some extra straps. So I got a whole bunch of Velcro straps, and I really crank all my tent down to get it smaller. So that's one way to beat the gigantic tent at the end if it's too big. Get a Tundra. Yeah, I should just get like a big flamethrower and melt myself a trail out there, Barry. So what do you got for dislikes? What's something that you'd like to change on these tents? What's something that just drives you crazy? Mine is the tents that have the poles that are too small, and I see so often people are breaking them, and they're looking for replacement poles. And if you look at those tents, they actually sell a lot of those tents. So oh, it must be, is Dave Routley watching at home? Because he's made mention of this 450. Yes, Dave, it was the 450 I that we used, and it had huge space. We camped on it. Dave didn't pop up on our notice here. It was just right on the messenger. But we went camping in the summer in it, and we had a ton of room. And we used, I think we slept in a couple nights. We just went fly fishing for the summer, and then took that tent because it was super simple and super easy to use. But I think the poles and the bag are my 2 biggest beef. And Jeff Hines says he hasn't ice fished in years. Wow. What is the matter, sir? There are some fantastic lakes on the island where you're at that freeze up. You should get out of that. That's one relaxing thing to do, my friend. And so everybody seems to be pulling theirs with the Polaris Indy. That sounds like the triple 440, I think, isn't it? And that's about 7 million pounds. Yeah, when that thing gets stuck, it gets stuck. Yeah, my brother-in-law has that same sled. It's purple and black, and that thing is a tank. So you guys all pull your sleds then, I guess, with Skidoos. It sounds like we have a unique issue out here. So most of us have to walk into the lakes, or if we can drive to the lake, we still have 400 or 500 yards of packing all this stuff through the heavy snow and slush or whatever's on the lake. So some of those are super important to me. The insulated tent, I have been taking. The 450i is not gigantic, but it is heavy, but it is so comfortable that I've been taking it just about anywhere, except this last trip. I went with my daughter, and we took a quick fish too. It was super light, and sometimes you got to take something super light. Like, do you take extra propane, or do you take the insulated tent? So we took the extra propane, keep my daughter warm while she played her video games in the tent. That's what they do inside the tent. Well, I'm playing with the LiveScope video game. So, okay, I want to share with you a couple quick things, and then we will roll. Here is something new for this year, and it just happens to be Eskimo. I don't bucket fish. However, I could see the advantage of this for sure. This is a very useful piece of kit here. Um, I may be convinced just to take a bucket to take a whole bunch of my tools and stuff in it and some batteries and whatever, and then have pouches to use for even my cooking stuff maybe. Because when I go out for 2 or 3 days, having my cooking stuff available quickly might be something I could use for keeping my cooking stuff handy. And also, where is I guess I showed you the auger. And so this one here is just been beefed up. So this is not new, but it's been higher performance for this year. So, and I am excited to get one of those for next year, I think, and give that a go and then give it a pretty good review. But have you guys got any new products this year that you want to talk about, show and tell? I'd love to see something new. And I did manage to get this out on the water, not this particular one, the water wolf. Here's my camera. Where's it going? That one here last weekend. Wanted to see how well it paddled. It paddles slowly, but it's heavy, and so it looks like a very lethargic bait. So that's kind of cool. Probably should trigger a few aggressive bites with the way it swims. It kind of darts on the way down too. So it paddles quickly up. Well, it paddles quickly up, and then it kind of darts on the way down with a little paddle. So I'm looking forward to getting that to Wolf Lake. So Wolf Lake, we're on time here. So I wanted to mention we have 4 seats left on the trip with Scotty and I to Wolf Lake Wilderness Lodge, which is the last week in June, first little bit in July. He has offered us a ridiculous discount for anybody who wants to fill those seats. So if you think you can get that time off and you want to discuss some of the costs with me, let me know. PM me or Scotty, or you can PM the lodge directly, Todd Collins, or right to Wolf Lake Wilderness Lodge. So that's 4 seats only left, and so it's booking up pretty quickly. And I think we had one more booking yesterday, or potential booking, and I'm pretty sure that he's coming. He's just double checking his dates. So I would highly recommend it. And being there with Scotty and I while we're filming, it should be a hoot. And I'm excited to see some of that food out there. Crazy food. I'll have to lose some weight before I head out there. Let's see. Oh, the comments are coming over here, and I skipped out of the comment section. So you just got your 450i. Equinox. I can't believe it. Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because I had 2 tents from Costco that I bought a long time ago, and the stitching came out of them so quickly in both of them, and it was the exact same thing on both of them. So I returned them. And the 450i, I got the 450 and the insulated hub. And I was impressed with the pole size, the connecting hub pieces, the zippers, the meshing that they put in them, quite nice. And you will enjoy that, Nick, for a long time, I'm sure. And I'm not easy on mine, and it has definitely shown itself to be a great, great tent. So congratulations on that tent. I look forward to seeing some pictures of that tent on the ice. And oh, by the way, Nick, how do you love that door? Like, let's be honest, having that walk-through door and not have to trip. Oh, it's crazy. Amanda, oh, how much does that weigh? What's that? The 450i? Are you referring to the 450i, Don? I don't actually have the exact weight, but I can post it in here and right after the show. It's not that heavy, actually. I'm going to throw a guess into about the 28-pound mark. And yeah, Barry, it's going to be an amazing trip. And hopefully you guys are from the CFN land are able to make it. I'd love to see a couple more of you guys from CFN head out to there. And by the way, the flights from Ontario to Whitehorse are quite inexpensive right now if you were booking. We're talking about $400. So, and that's cheaper than me flying from BC, which is kind of crazy. Oh yeah. Amanda's talking about that lure. Oh yeah. Okay. Sure. The lure. That one there is 6 ounces. So that big paddle one, Don, is 6 ounces. And the Ion Auger, yes, Amanda, and you need one of those as badly as I do, for sure. Take the weight off, for sure. So yes, let's get some of you guys CFNers in there, because he's offering us such a great deal, and I would definitely like to fill the seats. It'll make for a much nicer video, and we can have a heck of a time down there. Okay, I am going to see if there's any more questions here. I didn't go through sweet thing. More reliable. I am going to pull the post up from last week and do that draw for another subscription of Hooked Magazine. Now, I definitely want to thank, where is it? I've lost my link. Don Lamont for donating these Hooked Magazine subscriptions. I don't know if anybody who's won yet has received them yet. Richard messaged me. Wow, I have lost my link to my giveaway. So that's not it. I may have dropped out of the stream. Look at me, all clicky pants and losing the stream. I might have to wait on this because I cannot find my link. So I am going to have to just do this draw live right after this, as soon as I can find that link. And then that's okay, Tony. I'm sure you've already won a subscription, didn't you? Who? I can't even remember who won, but you won one. I think, Tony, didn't you? A subscription? So right after I wrap up this, I will go and do, I'll find the link, and then I'll do a quick live and get it done. And then, yeah, mic drop. I knocked myself right out of the old stream. So next week, for sure, we're going to be here with Randall, and you guys are going to laugh your guts out. He is so funny, and at least I hope he is, or still is. I don't usually leave the room without a sore stomach muscles, because he is so funny. I'm going to pop up one more picture he took there recently. He does some amazing stuff, so I'm looking forward to chatting with him and seeing what's up with him. And Dawn, if she's still listening, I hope you get better soon, because we need you here. Does anybody have any recommendations from fresh kind of fish, seafood dish ideas that you could possibly like to see Dawn prepare for us? She's going to cook them live for us, and then she's going to email us all the pieces of the dinner so we can taste them. Yeah, that's right. We have emailing food now, so hopefully we can have that organized, Dawn, so you can email us all pieces at lunch. Okay, so we're going to do the Hook Magazine, and stay tuned for Randall. Now, if you guys have any final questions, yeah, you're back. Sorry, Amanda. I clicked one too many times and left the scene. So where is all my branding? Okay, here we are. So that's going to be it for today. We have no guest. Joel is working night shift, but he will also be joining us again. The Wolf Lake Wilderness Lodge owners will be back again from their trips down south, where they're selling their lodge and hopefully filling it up. And so that's another reason I'm concerned about those 4 extra spaces that we have left, because he'll be trying to fill them as well. So hopefully you guys can get in on this and get a small deposit to Todd and get that booked up as quick as possible. Big shout out to Garmin for all the wicked products and the live scope that they have sent me. And the announcement. Now I'm looking at the end of my thing. So here it is. I haven't signed the deal, but I was offered a spot on network television on the Sportsman channel for my own show, The Reelistic Outdoors. I have a whole bunch of new episodes that I haven't aired online yet, So I believe I'm going to be keeping them for the show. I'm just trying to work out a few of my sponsors together. So if there's any sponsors out there who would like to have some reasonably inexpensive advertisement on my show, please PM me. I have about 3 spaces left that I can certainly use, and you guys can take advantage of some of that advertising. So starting in October, I should be airing 4 days a week, Realistic Outdoors. Woo! So didn't sign it, but it was offered to me, so the space is there. So it's definitely going to be a thing. I'm 99% positive I'm able to put the sponsor money together. I've had really good responses from my sponsors since I told them. So it looks to me like a go. So, hey, Crystal, thank you. Thanks, Steve and Barry and Don and Tony for all the congrats. I appreciate that. So you guys will have to see more of me. Yeah, tune in for that. So I'll keep you guys posted, and as soon as I sign the actual final deal, I'll let you know that it's 100% permanent, and there will be no of me backing out or getting cold feet or chicking out. I have a lot of the episodes done already, so yeah. Woo woo. Hey Terry, appreciate that, bud. Okay, so I'm going to leave you guys with that, and because that's super happy notice for me. And yes. Oh, apparently Siri is pretty happy too. I can hear her answering me over there. So I'm going to leave you guys out and think. Oh, Siri is so annoying. You could stop listening in on me. That's how you can help. Sorry to hear that. I'm here if you want to talk. Thanks, Siri. Appreciate it. She's never there when I really need her. No problem. Wow, she's so nice. I don't know if you guys can hear her, but she is so annoying. Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you again next week. And please PM me with if you have any interest in the Wolf Lake Wilderness Lodge. I can give you as many details as I possibly can. And again, thanks for watching, and please subscribe. Cheers.